Hi, Year Twos, and welcome to today's reading session. This is our second session this week, and we are going to be looking at our text Matilda again. But first, we're going to start our lesson, as we always do, by sharing a picture. But today, we're going to be looking at answering some retrieval questions about our text Matilda, and then on Thursday, we're going to be answering some inference questions. But as I said, we are going to be looking at a picture first to get our brains working. So here is a picture. Again, it's taken from The Mysteries of Harris Burdick by Chris Van Allsburg, so the same as yesterday. And the first question is an explain question. What does the word thruster mean? That's a tricky word. I've not really heard of that word before. I'd like you to have a think about what that might mean, and you can look it up in a dictionary if you've got a dictionary with you as well. So pause the video and have a think. Great, well done, guys. Thruster means a person or thing that thrusts, and that means that they push with a great force. So by looking at this picture, it looks like there is some kind of weird force there at the bottom of the picture, like a cloud of dust that is the thruster. It's a force of energy, making it feel quite a little bit spooky there. Okay, so the next question is a retrieval question. How many windows can you see on the house? See if you can count the windows. Let's have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 windows that we can see, but obviously we can see, or we can't see some of the windows. There's probably more than 12, but that's what we can see. Okay, next question is an interpret question, so an inference question. So we have to think about these questions. Do you think the house is empty? Pause the video and have a little think. Do you think the house is empty? Okay, now I think that the house isn't empty, and I'll tell you why. I think there's a light in the top window, which makes me think that it isn't empty and there is someone in the house. What did you think? Okay, and the last question is a choice question. Why has Chris Van Allsburg, the illustrator, the author of the book, used black and white for the picture? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, well done. I think that he has used black and white in this picture to make it look spooky and creepy, to make the reader get that spooky feeling. What did you think? Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the retrieval questions. So we're going to use our retrieval skills, which means we're finding the answers in the text. Okay, so all of the answers will be in the writing in the text today. So I'm going to reread this text for you first. By the time she was 3, Matilda had taught herself to read by studying newspapers and magazines that lay around the house. At the age of 4, she could read fast and well, and she naturally began hankering after books. The only book in the whole of this enlightened household was something called Easy Cooking, belonging to her mother. And when she had read this from cover to cover and had learnt all the recipes by heart, she decided she wanted something more interesting. Daddy, she said, Do you think you could buy me a book? A book, he said. What do you want a flaming book for? To read, Daddy. What's wrong with the telly, for heaven's sake? We've got a lovely telly with a 12-inch screen, and now you come asking for a book? You're getting spoiled, my girl. Nearly every weekday afternoon, Matilda was left alone in the house. Her brother, 5 years older than her, went to school. Her father went to work, and her mother went out playing bingo in a town out 8 miles away. Mrs. Wormwood was hooked on bingo and played it 5 afternoons a week. On the afternoon of the day her father had refused to buy her a book, Matilda set out all by herself to walk to the public library in the village. When she arrived, she introduced herself to the librarian, Mrs. Phelps. She asked if she might sit a while and read a book. Mrs. Phelps, slightly taken aback at the arrival of such a tiny girl, unaccompanied by a parent, nevertheless told her she was very welcome. Okay, so let's have a look at our first question. By the age of 3, what had Matilda taught herself to do? So I'm going to see if I can underline the information that tells us this. By the age of 3, what had Matilda taught herself to do? So the word taught, I can find up here, taught herself to read by studying newspapers and magazines. So by the age of 3, she had taught herself to read. She had taught herself to read. Next question. What was the only book in the household called? So let's have a look and see if we can find that information as well. At the age of 4, she could read fast and well, and she naturally began hankering after books. Oh, here we are. The only book in the whole of this enlightened household was something called Easy Cooking, belonging to her mother. So the answer to that question is that the only book in the household was Easy Cooking, which is a recipe book, because it says that she had learnt all the recipes by heart. Okay, next question. Oh, this is your task. So I want you to pause the video and write down the questions and then your answers in your books. And you're going to use the text to help you answer. So pause the video and you're going to answer these retrieval questions. So you've got question number 1. How many years older was Matilda's brother? Question number 2. Where did Matilda's mother go every day? 3. What was Mrs. Wormwood hooked on? And last question, who did Matilda introduce herself to? Okay, so pause the video, have a go at writing those questions and the answers. Use the text to help you. Off you go. Okay, so the answers to those questions, you can self-mark your work now. If you got it right, you can give yourself a tick. If it wasn't quite right, then you can fix it and write down the correct answer. So how many years older was Matilda's brother? Says in the text there that she was 5 years older. So that's the answer for that one. Question 2, where did Matilda's father go every day? It says in the text, her father went to work. So that is the answer to that question. And question 3, what was Mrs. Wormwood hooked on? What was she addicted to? And the answer to that question was, she was hooked on bingo. She loved playing bingo. And the last question, who did Matilda introduce herself to? And the answer to that one is, when she went to the library, she introduced herself to Mrs. Phelps, the librarian. Okay, well done if you got those questions right. If you have made a mistake, I'd like you to fix it and correct your answers. And then it'd be great if you put this work onto Padlet for us to see. Okay, thanks everybody, and I will see you again soon.